My friends, it is a real joy to be with you this morning to share in God's Word, to share in God's love and in God's mercy. In today's gospel, we hear Jesus sharing the familiar parable of the sower of the seed. But isn't that exactly what Jesus was doing in the boat that day? As the people along the shore they were listening to his words. He was sowing seeds, wasn't he? He was sowing seeds of faith. He was sowing seeds of hope. He was sowing seeds of love. He was sowing it generously and abundantly to whoever wanted to receive it, and some did. And those who received those seeds, those who received those words were lifted up and their lives were changed. But others, as we know, like the seed that fell on the path or the thorns, there were some who didn't listen to his message. And Jesus would say himself, he said to those who received his words, he would say, blessed are you, for people long to see what you see, but did not see it. They long to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. My friends, we are here today. In this church and in social media, we're here today because we have eyes to see and ears to hear. Because somewhere along the line in our lives, people did sow seeds of faith, didn't they, in our lives? That's why we're here today. Because someone came along and spread those seeds of faith, and could have been our parents, our godparents, grandparents. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was even a stranger. But whoever sowed those seeds reminded us today that we too are sowers of the seed. When we leave this church today, when we leave social media and go out today, somewhere along the line, we are sowing seeds, and we have a choice what kind of seeds that we want to plant. You know, during my seminary training, I came to become better aware of the power of the seeds that we sow. In 1981, I began priestly formation at a place called Darlington Seminary in Mahwah, New Jersey. And there I was joined with 20 other classmates. Now, our class was made up of young men from different backgrounds, diverse cultures, unique theologies. We all had strong personalities and very distinct opinions. And it was very clear, sort of from the beginning, as we gathered together, it was fairly evident that we were not really a good fit. We didn't always get along with one another. Yes, we ate together, we prayed together, we studied together, we lived together. But in many ways, we weren't together. And the faculty did all kinds of things to try to bring us together as a unit. Nothing seemed to work. Finally, between semesters in our third year, what they did is they brought out an outside facilitator. They probably thought to themselves, maybe somebody from the outside can bring this group together. And so the facilitator was brought in, and the first thing he did was he gathered us in this room, dimly lit room, and he gathered us and he asked us all to sit in a circle. And so we did. Then he took the Christ candle, and he took the candle and he put it right in the middle of us. And he was very frank. He said, your lack of civility to one another is really having a negative effect on the whole community. But he said, I want you to take a moment of silence, and then prayerful silence, and then I want you to look around at each other. He said, realize that each of you are made in the image and in the likeness of God. That God has created each of you. And because you have spent so much time together, living and studying and praying together and eating together, you know each other's faults. But you also know each other's talents and you know each other's gifts. He said, so I'm going to invite you to participate in this particular exercise. He said, I'm going to choose one of you, and then we're going to go around the circle, and each of you are going to have a chance to talk about what they admire in the other. And so they chose me. And so the group, one by one, and as they began, and what you could not do if you were chosen, you could not respond to what they admired about you. You couldn't say anything. You had to just sit there, and you had to sort of take in what they're saying. So obviously, as they were going around, I felt very uncomfortable, not only being the first, but also having people publicly say what they admired. But then I realized as they were going along, what I realized is, I didn't know so many of the things that they were saying. I didn't know that's how they saw me. So when they finished with me, they went to the next classmate, until we were all finished. All of us had a chance to hear what the class admired about them. And when it was all finished, I remember very distinctly, and very quickly, the spirit in the room changed. And very quickly in the relationships, very quickly, it was almost as if through this exercise of spreading seeds of affirmation, through this exercise, we began to see each other with different eyes. It was an amazing exercise. We began to hear each other differently. Once we realized how much we admired about each other, then we began to not only get along with each other, but the relationships strengthened. And the relationship in the community strengthened. But I've often thought to myself, why did it take 3 years? Why did it take 3 years? Why did it take an outside person, facilitator, to be brought in? Why were we, as a class, so reluctant to share with one another affirmations about what we really saw in each other? I'm not sure I have the answers to those questions, but I do know this, is this simple affirmation of telling people that we live with, that we talk with, that we eat with. The simple affirmation made us better people. They made us better seminarians, and hopefully they made us eventually better priests. My friends, it's been said that one of the most powerful force available to humanity is the words that we speak. And we can choose this force to lift us up with words of encouragement. And words have the energy and the power with the ability to help and to heal. Mr. Rogers put it this way. He said, we need to change our broken world with our words. He said, imagine Imagine what our real neighborhoods would be like if each of us offered, as a matter of course, just one kind word to another person. What surprised me most about this exercise in the seminary was that most of us were not aware about what the other thought about them. How many people in your life don't really know what you think about them, what you admire about them, what you believe is good about them? Sometimes we live our lives as if the person we're living with or the person we have a special relationship with, our friends, sometimes we think that they're mind readers. Well, they know how much I love them, but do they? Oh, she knows what I think about her, but does she? So when I invite all of us, social media, all of us here today, I invite you to write a letter or send an email or send a card to just one person, and maybe the one you're living with. Just one person. And let them know what you admire about them. Because, my friends, we are like Jesus. Jesus went in the boat that day, and he sowed seeds, didn't he? He sowed seeds that would change people's lives, and we have that same power. We have that same power to be able to go out and sow seeds of affirmation and kindness that will change our world and change the people that we love.